everybody. Welcome to ICC's Game of the Week with your host, as always, Joel Benjamin. Grandmasters are so proficient in the opening that they often head into the middle game or even the end game with a completely balanced position. Sometimes they shake hands, and if they don't, fans often cynically question why they don't, especially if their engines are showing all zeros. In the game between Xiangzhi and Vassily Ivanchuk, it seemed that both players were trying to win, enabling the endgame to take on new life. In the end, after some nice, unexpected tactics, one player got what he wanted, and the other came up empty. So here we go. This is a game from the Hainan Danzhou Grandmaster Tournament. Bu playing white, and knight f3. I don't ever recall him really being anything but a kind of a flank player. I don't think he ever played e4. And so moves like knight f3, c4, they very often will transpose into queen pawn openings, and that's what happens here as Ivanchuk sends it into queen's gambit declined. Very solid way to play. Bishop g5. Of course, in the last few years, bishop f4 has risen a lot in popularity at the grandmaster level, and I think one of the reasons is that in the last few years, the Lasker defense with knight e4 has become very popular. It's a pretty solid line, and it seems that it's gotten more solid, and a lot of grandmasters feel that they can't really do too much against it. But here Ivanchuk kind of goes old school and plays what was kind of the main line when he was growing up, the Tartakover variation with b6. Now there are many ways that white can meet the Tartakover. This is kind of a basic divide. You know, should white trade on d5? Should he take on f6 first, or should he just keep the tension? So, you know, for instance, white can take on f6 and then take on d5 and get this structure, and then from here he can even he can either play positionally, you know, develop his pieces and maybe look to eventually put pressure on hanging pawns should black play c5, or he could try something like queen d2 and try to you know, castle queenside and attack there. Another way to do it is to take on d5, and then the conventional wisdom is to take with a knight, and that brings about a couple of exchange of pieces and then play from there. But Bu went for the third type of continuation, where it just develops and keeps the tension. I kind of have the memory that that in the time of my growing up and becoming grandmaster, I kind of remember the ones with the exchanges to be considered the critical lines. But of course, this is you know, very interesting as well. And then now to knight bd7, there also are choices here. Queen e2 is certainly a logical move, connecting the rooks. But here, white plays rook to c1. And now c5. One of the main ideas, and the other main idea is to play knight e4. Perhaps rook c1 was directed against that. So c5, with all the pieces developed, black strikes at the center. And here, white just maintains the tension with queen e2. And now knight e4. This is kind of a key move, because simple exchanges, you know, maybe playing to give white an isolated pawn, probably don't work so well, because the knight on d7 is not really that well placed in the position with an isolated queen pawn for white. But knight e4 is looking for exchanges, and one way that this could really help black is in the position white has connected the rooks and can easily bring the rooks into play. It's harder for black with the queen sitting on d8, but if there's a trade of bishops on